Okay. What I'm going to do is share my journey of starting an insurance agency. I'm an independent insurance agent. I'm licensed to do life and health. Um, and I feel like there's a lot out there on, oh, become an insurance agent. This is what you need to do and all that stuff. What I don't think there's a lot of is like what does it actually look like to do all this? So I'm a month into getting my license. I used Excel Solutions. They're all online. It's go at your own pace or whatever, but they give you like 4 weeks, and then you got to pay more if you don't do it. But I got mine done in 4 days, doing roughly 4 to 6 hours a day. And then you go online and do your proctored test, and they'll walk you through all that, where to go to take your test and all that. And you can do your test proctored at home, at least in Oklahoma. So you don't have to go anywhere for that, but you do have to have a webcam. You have to give them access to your computer. They're going to watch everything you're doing. Um, it's proctored, right? They got to make sure that you're not cheating, whatever. They're going to ask you to look at your entire room, make sure you don't have a bunch of clutter on your desk. You can't have your phone, you can't have drinks, so on and so forth. But either way, they walk you through it, and they tell you what you can and can't have while you're taking the test around you. Okay, so you've got your license, assumedly. Um, then while you're getting your license, you should probably find an agency that's going to help you. You're still independent, but you're gonna want some help getting contracts and some mentorship. And there's a lot of things that a good mentor is going to help you through, from getting contracts to where to get leads to CRMs to all that stuff. You want help with that. You can try to figure it out on your own. Um, Good luck. I mean, it's a lot. Okay, so um, once you get your license, your upline is going to start filling out contracts for you and getting you appointed to insurance agencies. A good upline at that point is going to send you links to the CRM. Um, that's customer relations management. The CRM, hopefully a group chat or something like that where you can converse with other agents and learn and ask questions, and hopefully you have plenty of support. Um, so basically, day one, got my license. From day one of getting my license, my upline started getting me appointed, filling out contracts, sent me some CRM links so I could start on that. That was, say, the 23rd of that month that I got my license. And then, so the 24th, I went through and set up the CRMs, filled out my personal information, banking info, all that stuff, so you can get paid. Because a good CRM is going to connect to your contracts. It'll be like one little hub where it kind of you can manage everything from one place. They're not going to connect with all of the insurance companies, but at least the first few that you're appointed with. So that was the 24th. And then the 27th, I did AML training, which is anti money laundering. Um, Depending on what you're doing, you may or may not need that. It's pretty simple. Just get it done. And then E&O insurance, which is errors and omissions insurance, which honestly, I mean, that's a monthly expense that I didn't know I had to have. Like, no one mentioned that until literally I had my license, and I had been working with a lot of people. I think my upline mentioned it, but the guys who turned me on to this never said, "Oh yeah, you got to get insurance." So I really didn't know about it literally until I started discussing stuff with my upline. So by the 27th, I knew I needed it. I knew I was going to have to get it, but I was already started getting my license before I was ever told that I needed that. And then I got invited into the group chat, and that's what I'm saying. A good upline is going to have some sort of mentorship group that can help you answer questions and walk you through all this stuff. The 29th of that month, filed for additional license for a couple of other states. One of the states required fingerprints. Just went to a local place, and the state will tell you who they accept fingerprints from. You don't have to go to that state for the fingerprints, but you do have to go to an approved facility in the area you're in to submit those fingerprints. It's super simple. I promise they'll walk you through it. They do this all the time. They know what they're doing. And then the 30th, basically still waiting for like CRMs to recognize that I even have a license, and let me start logging in and stuff. I also went ahead and made an LLC at that point, because like when I started this, I know I want this at some point to be a business. I don't want this to be just me doing me. I would love to turn this into a business at some point, which means an LLC. I used Zen Business. Went well. They walk you through everything. Super simple. The second of the following month. So now we're basically a week and a few days in. Started practicing on aged leads. My upline was really awesome. He gave me a bunch of aged leads, just literally to sit there and practice dialing. And if someone answers, you get to practice having that conversation. So that's super important, right? I didn't have to go spend money. He literally gave me like 300 leads, just sent them to me and said, call these. Doesn't mean the leads are worth a whole lot, but people answered. I got to practice. The third of the next month, got all my licenses published for the other states, as well as the original state that I got licensed in, and the CRM actually started recognizing it. I think that at that point they had already recognized my initial license, but then it started recognizing the other two licenses. Made a Facebook page. My LLC went through, made a Facebook page, got that stuff going, because I think it's super important to not always have to buy leads. Like, I want to brand, and I want to have some organic leads coming in at some point. I know, that's not going to happen overnight, but it's never going to happen if you don't make a brand, right? The 9th, so now we're 2.5 weeks in. I bought like 20 leads to practice. They were allegedly decent leads, and I'm not saying they weren't decent leads, but this takes a lot of dialing. When someone finally answers, you're like, you're freezing up and stuff. And I went through the script a lot, but you're nervous, you're still shaky. It's a learning curve. So just bought 20 leads. I think out of 20, I may have had a conversation with several of them. Just hung up on me. I may have had a conversation with 3 of them. Didn't sell anything. Then I got another roughly, so that was the 9th. Then on the 18th, which now we're roughly 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks in, whatever that is, 4 weeks in. Little over 3 weeks in. I got a bunch of free leads from a guy that's in the same agency, like has the same upline as me, which was awesome. The issue with those is they clicked on an ad specific to that guy. So when some guy named James was calling them, they would literally, like, I would call them, talk to them, leave them a voicemail. Those are like pretty high intent leads, because there's a lot to fill out on those ads and everything. They would literally call him. So rather than calling me back or answering my call, they would call him, which is good, right? That's what when you go through the trouble to put together ads and stuff, that's what you want. You want them to want to talk to you. That's why they clicked on your ad. But he was in a position where he couldn't work the leads, so he told me to work them. And then we would figure something out on the back end. So that was on the 18th, which was 8 days ago. At that point, I started getting my CRM phone number, A2P verified, which will let me set up give me the ability to text. So when people click on my Facebook ad, it can send them a welcome message and get some automation and stuff going to kind of nurture that lead and give them the opportunity to set up an appointment or just call me, whatever. It's just setting up some automation. At that point, I also started setting up Facebook ads, which my upline basically had all these templates and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Get a good upline that knows what they're doing, that can walk you through this, because had I had to do it from scratch, I wouldn't know what the heck I was doing. So got all those set up. Now I'm just waiting on my my A2P verification to go through. And I will say, as of today, it has failed 3 times. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. You've got to go through and fill out all this automation. Like, you have to tell it what your messages are going to say as far as what the automation is going to be. So it hasn't liked what I did 3 times. So I had to set up a website. I didn't even have a website for my LLC, but I set one up because this automation process wants a website to go through, and they want to know how people are opting in to even receive these messages. They just want to make sure you're not just slinging text messages to people who unsolicited, basically. So to date, 0 sales, and just to be transparent, in a month, I've only had 3 good conversations, but I'm not sitting here calling leads. I'm not calling 100 leads a day. I think I've worked 60 leads over the last month, and literally just for practice. My big goal is to get the Facebook going and have those higher intent leads and spend money on ads to get higher intent leads that way. The leads still may cost $5, $10, $15 a piece, which is what you're going to pay, maybe $20 a piece even, which is what you're going to pay anywhere else. But I don't know how those leads were acquired. The leads that I pay for ads and get through Facebook, I know what they had to go through to hit that submit button. So to me, I have a lot more confidence that they're going to be higher intent leads. So that's the first month. And it was probably a month before that of really buckling down to get my license. Like I said, it only took 4 days to do the class and the training and everything. But there was, what you don't see in all these dates are all the videos I've watched, all the practicing the scripts and everything. I imagine if someone was only spending a few hours a week on this, the progress they would have made would be even less. I mean, this is I'm doing something insurance related every single day. These are just kind of the highlights of when stuff went through. Anyway, if you want to be a health and life insurance independent agent, this is kind of what the first month looks like for me. And this is with 0 background in insurance. So someone else may rock their first month and know exactly what they're doing, but I had 0 background in it. I just wanted to do something that I could build for myself and support my family on at some point. And this is how my first month went. Comment if you have any questions. I'll answer whatever I can. If there's something in here that didn't make sense, ask me. I'm not a video maker by any means, but I'm more than happy to have a conversation about it.